What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for a 6th to 7th month hiatus Blu-ray update. It has been over a half year, basically, because I have been just really busy, and also I've been trying to save money. Recently, I got married. So I have been saving money. I haven't been buying Blu-rays at all for a long time because I'm putting, all my money, just saving it, trying to, protect the finances a little bit. So I've been somewhat on the naughty list when it comes to buying Blu-rays, I must say. But I'm on the good list right now with my wife, so that's good too. So I have been spending all of my time just doing family stuff, taking care of a lot of other things that I need to get done. But I finally have realized that I have accumulated a few movies in the past 6, 7 months. I have not been buying. I'll be honest with you. Really haven't been buying. Just trying to save a little bit. But like I said, I found a few along the way that I had to get. I bought a couple that my wife really wanted, so I will display them today. But I have about 3 Blu-rays to talk about today that I've bought in the last 6 months. And I have about 5 DVDs that I buy. I know, I always say this, I shouldn't buy DVDs. But these movies I don't see ever going to Blu-ray, so I had to buy them because they're classics from the 80s and 90s. So I had to get it. And I also have a miscellaneous one that we'll talk about at the end. But I'll get right into it right away. I'm going to talk about my Blu-rays first. I just basically just randomly just went on Google, or excuse me, went on Amazon, and just typed in Police Academy. Absolutely love Police Academy. I love all the movies. I know there's like 7 of them. And each one that it goes from harsh to like real childlike. The first movie is rated R. Second one's like PG-13. Third one's like PG-13. And then it goes PG, PG, PG. I think the last one could be G. It's so elementary. It gets so much cleaner as each movie goes on. So I understand why they're doing that, trying to get more viewers. Back in the the 80s and the 90s. But I thought the first one's just the best one. It truly is the best one. Steve Guttenberg, Kim Cattrall, all them from back in the day. David Graff, the late David Graff. All those movies are some of the best movies ever. Was the first one out of the 7, and so I bought the Police Academy, the complete collection. Really like this. This one's a Region A and B. Remember, Region A is North America Blu-ray DVD players. So this one I think was made in a Region B area, but it's also it will play for Region A. I got this on Amazon, I believe, if I remember right, or eBay, I forget. But yeah, the whole thing comes in like this. They come in all 3. I think it's like Police Academy 1 to 3 in this one, Police Academy 4 to 5 in this one, and 6 and 7. I think in the second movie, I think Bobcat Goldthwait makes his first appearance in the movie series, and I had to get it because it's just it's such a classic series. Again, the first one's the best one. I'm not gonna lie to you and say all 7 are great, because they're not, but they're fun. And if you go into it thinking that these cops are kind of goofy, it makes it just all the better. But just I'm really glad to add this to collection, and yeah, I was really shocked to see it on Amazon. I was very shocked. Okay, the next 2 I bought from my wife because she loves these. I know what you're thinking. Oh well, get over it. It's all good. First one I bought was Sex and the City 1 and 2. Little combo pack. Now I noticed this one was cheaper to buy this in a combo than to buy each of them individually. I was like, I don't really care. I would never have bought this unless I met my wife. And so I figured I might as well save money. So I, 2 birds with 1 stone. It's not terrible. I got into it a little bit because of my wife. She was definitely into, watching the show whenever she has time, and she's kind of filled me in. That's better. She's kind of filled me in on these movies. Jeez, she's kind of filled me in on these 2 movies, and also the first like 6 or 7 seasons of the show from the late 90s into 2000s. And I don't hate it. It's not bad. It could be a lot worse. It's definitely not realistic. These women all have like decent amounts of money and just seem to be doing everything. And it's almost like, the dates on The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Like none of that shit really happens. It's not going to happen. It's not real life. But they're fun to watch. And first movie was pretty good. That was about Carrie, Sarah Jessica Parker getting married to Big. And then this movie is just about all of them going to like, India or like Morocco or something like that. And it's not good. It's really choppy. It's really messy. First one's okay. Second one's just awful. All right, the next one, I will admit it, this is a good movie too. This kind of piggybacks on Sleepless in Seattle. It's You've Got Mail from the late 90s. This movie, took the catchphrase from American Online, like "You've got mail," and it kind of took that catchphrase from American Online. I'm sure they had to pay some royalties to that to American Online. I'm sure that didn't really cover them for the rest of their business. But this movie, it's almost the same thing as Sleepless in Seattle in a sense, but this it's a good movie. It's simple, it's fun. An older Gene Stapleton from All in the Family's in this. She plays like one of the old workers with Meg Ryan's little bookstore, and he plays, I think, Joe Fox, and he owns Fox Books, and basically buys a huge building that's right across the street from her shop, which is called The Shop Just Around the Corner, something like that. And this is a remake from a movie called, I think, The Shop Just Around the Corner, if I have that right. I could be wrong. But this is just another Nora Ephron, the late great Nora Ephron film, and she did a great job directing this movie. It's a fun movie. It really interacts well with social media and social and how people were social on the internet in the very beginning, like in the mid 90s to late 90s, because that's when it really started, like the American Online chat rooms and email and the "You've Got Mail" thing from AOL and the screen names. I watched this because it's kind of reminiscent of that, because I remember I had my screen name when I was in like middle school and high school, and like it was so like exclusive, like it was just, that's me, I'm the only one that can have it. Like it was so cool back in the day, because it was so freaking just evolutionary. But yeah, this movie's good. I enjoyed it very much. All right, so the rest are DVD. These are movies that I had to bite the bullet to buy because I love so much, and I know they're obscure. That's why I bought the DVD, because there are no Blu-ray for these. But I bought these. I was on a huge Chris Farley kick in the springtime. I watched the Spikes I Am Chris Farley, which is outstanding, which you got to watch. You can buy that on iTunes. You can get it, just get the Blu-ray itself through like Amazon or eBay or anything. You should buy it. It's wonderful. It's a really good documentary on the late Chris Farley, who's probably my all-time favorite comedian, and just so sad what happened to him, almost a glutton for punishment, but just a very tortured soul that never thought he was funny, but he truly was one of the funniest in the world, just like Rob Williams, another late great, truly tortured soul who didn't think he was funny, but he really was. So I got Almost Heroes, and it's almost a decent movie. It's not very good. It's with Matthew Perry, and Matthew Perry, Chandler Bing from Friends, and it's just it's about like Lewis and Clark kind of thing. It's it's like Lewis and Clark, but like they play two guys named Hunt and Edwards, and it's kind of like they're just old trailblazers, and it's not a great movie, but this was really towards the end of Chris Farley's life, and it's just sad to see him because he was so overweight, always sweaty, always just red face, and just looked exhausted all the time. And it really is heartbreaking to see it, because you just know, what really is going to happen in the ensuing months, if not weeks, because I think this is one of his last movies. But I had to watch it just because I love Chris Farley. Any kind of screen time he gave to us, I had to see. Just such a big fan. Not a great movie. It's like $3 on Amazon. I don't care, but it was just nice to see him. This is one that kind of, I think a lot of people don't think he's great in, because Tommy Boy's probably his best movie, and Black Sheep's really good with him too. But Beverly Hills Ninja, if you ever just are really bored, watch this movie. It's actually really funny. There's a lot of parts in it that I laugh so hard at, because he takes himself so serious as a real ninja. And I love the beginning where it shows him as like a little kid, but he was really just like big fat kid when he was little, and how he was so terrible being a ninja. And I just love how serious he takes like being a ninja in this whole movie. Like he does not break character as a legit karate guy. And also this movie also has a great bit with Will Sasso. Will Sasso was in Mad TV, and he's the real big guy that's hilarious as well. And he plays a really funny, I think, insurance guy or a car guy. I forget. But he's very funny in this movie. I think his name's Chet, and he's really funny in this movie. But this is just a really great movie to watch. Just for a laugh. It's not like a great movie like it's going to win awards, which it did not. But it's very funny, and it has Chris Rock's in it. It has Nicolette Sheridan, smoking hot blonde Nicolette Sheridan. But it's very funny to watch. Very funny to see Chris Farley again, and that's why I got it. The next two, I'm pretty sure are very obscure. I don't think a lot of people have seen them. I really liked them back in the 90s. I remember seeing them both in theaters when I was really young. But I got Rick Moranis and Tom Arnold, Big Bully. I don't see this going to Blu-ray. Again, that's why I've bought all the ones that you've seen so far and the ensuing ones on DVD, because I don't believe they'll go Blu-ray. So I just bite the bullet and go DVD, unfortunately. But most Blu-ray players do make the DVD look pretty good, I must say. But Big Bully, I actually really love this movie. I really love Rick Moranis. I'm always sad that he's kind of just left Hollywood. I think he's moved back to Canada where he's originally from. But I've always loved Rick Moranis. He's always such a believable character. I really loved him in Ghostbusters. Really loved him in Little Giants. Loved him in this, obviously. You know, I never understood why he left. You know, everyone has their own reasons. But I was never big on him leaving because I always thought he was such a great actor. Really loved him in the Flintstones, you know, when he played, I think, Barney. And but this movie is basically about a guy, Rick Moranis, who gets bullied by Tom Arnold, and I think his name was Davey or something like that, or David. And he's like an author, and I think his wife passed away or his wife left him, and he has a son. And he goes back to where he grew up and where he got really picked on by this kid right here, Tom Arnold. And when they go back to school, he becomes like a teacher where he's also a teacher at the same school where they both grew up at. And Tom Arnold has a son, where Rick Moranis has a son, and this time Rick Moranis' son bullies Tom Arnold's son, so it's kind of, you know, tit for tat kind of thing. And the whole movie goes back and forth on, a lot of bullying and stuff like that, but not like bullying where it's like so bad, like horrible hazing. But the movie's very good, and it's a little cheesy at times. Definitely totally 90s with their outfits and they're everything, all the themes and how everything is. But I enjoyed this movie. It's definitely a movie I'm sure a lot of people have not seen, and it's probably one of those movies where people did see and like, oh yeah, that movie. I love that movie. I haven't seen it in years. Check it out. Very cheap on Amazon, and I really enjoyed it. It's a classic. I think it's 1998 it came out. The next one I have always really liked this movie. The kid that's in this movie, I always forget his name. I don't know why I can't think of his name. But he was in a lot of like Disney stuff, and I can't think of his name. I think his first name was Ryan. That's not going to help. But this movie is The Deep End of the Ocean. Another 90s movie. I think it was 1997 or 98. Or 99, actually. I remember seeing this in the theater. Really liked it. And it was Michelle Pfeiffer. They have a son that they lose. And for years, their son's missing. And finally a kid, meets them up on the doorstep, or goes to their doorstep and rings the doorbell, and he comes back. Or is it really him? And that's the mystery of the movie. And Michelle Pfeiffer plays the mom, and it's a really good movie. And it's also, her husband is Treat Williams, who is this guy right there. Right there where my index finger's wiggling. Kind of haven't seen him in movies in a long time, but it's a very good movie, and it's a very palpable movie. Something that could definitely happen. I don't know about in this day and age of cell phones, but this is kind of just right before cell phones took over, the GPS kind of stuff and all that, where it can make things easier to find people who are missing. But just, every parent's nightmare this movie is. And I really liked it. You got to check it out. The Deep End of the Ocean. And the boy that's missing, his name was Ryan something in real life. He's in Disney movies all the time. I always forget his last name, but you'll recognize him if you see him. The next one I had to get the four film favorites one. These are always like $3 at every Walmart ever. I got this on Amazon again too. I think I got it for like $4. And this is all the house parties. Really loved House Party 2, House Party 3, House Party 4. I really loved the first one. Because it had, I think it was Robin Harris that was this guy's dad. This guy right here. That's Christopher Reed, not Reeve, but Reed. His dad was in this movie, who unfortunately passed away right after the making of this movie. He was actually a really funny comedian, and I think he died from a heart attack. But he was in the first movie, and it's a shame because he would have been great for the other three movies. But these are fun. It's kid and play. They were like 80s and 90s hip hop guys, very popular. Not too crude, more like the Will Smith kind of hip hop. Nothing too crude. Something you could listen to and not be too offended, I'm sure. But these are just fun movies. Again, it's kind of like Beverly Hills Ninja. It's kind of like the movies I've talked about for the most part, like Police Academy. Don't expect any, award-winning acting. Just enjoy it. I'm very nostalgic. It's very nostalgic for me to watch these movies. I used to watch them with my brother when I was real little, so I really enjoyed watching all four of these again. The last one I got, and I got this for a special reason because I was actually in attendance for this. Back in August of 2010, August of 2010, I went up to Boston, Massachusetts, and I went to UFC 118. This was the rematch with Frankie Edgar versus BJ Penn, and also Randy Couture fought that boxer, that James Toney. I was actually there for this. I went to the convention. I met a lot of the fighters. They were all pretty cool. I remember Forrest Griffin was a complete douchebag. And I just remember the ones that weren't that cool and the ones that were really cool. But the one that was the biggest douche was Forrest Griffin. I don't know what his deal was, but he was not cool. But I remember meeting John Bones Jones early on in his career when he was getting famous. He was really cool. I remember Ryan Bader was really cool. I got to meet them, and I just remember Forrest Griffin being a complete douchebag. I did not like him. Anthony Johnson was really cool. Anderson Silva was really cool. Chuck Liddell was okay. But I didn't get to meet any of these guys. They were prepping for a fight. But we were at the convention in Boston with some friends of mine, and we went to the TD Garden where the Boston Bruins play, and I think the Celtics. And I sat probably about halfway up the 100 level and saw this. It was really cool. Really cool to see it live. It was really intense. You know, it's just crazy what these guys go through. Again, I only bought this because I was there. It's something I can use as kind of a commemorative item. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I know it's been legit like 7 months or 6-7 months. Sorry, it is what it is. But I'm back. I will start doing in theater reviews again. I do have one coming up, if not later today. I saw Ghostbusters the other day with my wife, and you have to wait to see that one to see what I thought of that movie. But until then, you take it easy. Bye.